Other things happening too that are very disheartening, that are happening at people's homes, and it's discouraging to see people behave that way. Yes, sir.
How you doing? Mark Stiles, Taylor.
Say your name again, sir.
Excuse me?
Could you say your name again, please?
Mark Stiles.
Okay.
Just a couple quick things. When you reconsider the purchase of the Sportsplex, the 18 pages, when you're looking at and you're thinking about that, think about the trades and the people that may possibly work at that Sportsplex, servers.
The media play you're talking about?
No, the Sportsplex and the media play.
Okay.
Anything that's going to be sold here, I mean, the longer we sit on this, any of these, any future buildings, the longer we sit on these, trying to start a bidding war, I think we're going to lose them. Once somebody moves into a building, we hope that somebody moves into another building down the street. These vacant buildings will create jobs. People will have to go inside and fix these buildings up. So, you know, as a carpenter, we all know the state of Michigan's had some pretty tough times. So as I sit here and I think of how I'm going to make my next house payment or my taxes, and I see potential jobs being thrown down the hole, it's pretty disappointing. So I don't know, when we vote on the
August
Sportsplex?
7th. Well, the media play August 7th, and the Sportsplex was that postponed to August 7th? Yes. August 7th, next meeting.
Okay, well, we got 18 pages. You got plenty of time to read it. Hopefully it doesn't get postponed again. I mean, hopefully we can move forward with this, and let's put some people back to work.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, yes, sir.
Mayor.
Your name, sir?
Thomas Rossi, 30-year resident of the city of Taylor. I just have a question as regard to some of the publicity that's been currently going on in the news media in regards to neighborhood watches. We have a very good neighborhood watch in our neighborhood, and we would like to see the city encourage these sort of things. It would also save the police department probably a lot of other anguish that currently goes through here. And if you were to go ahead and put that in your newsletters, it probably would save a lot of hassle in regards to, and also encourage the police to come in, talk to these neighborhood watches, the lieutenants, the captains, whoever they might be. Mm-hmm. Make sure, we had it happen once, we have a very good understanding of what it is. We have some situations in our neighborhood as well. We take care of them.
Excellent.
And I would like to see this city council promote it from your newsletter.
Okay, thank you. Well, let's ask, I don't know if the chief could speak to that, if there's an opportunity for developing more neighborhood watch programs in other neighborhoods. Sounds like this is really working in your neighborhood.
Thank you.
Okay. Chief Skobasi?
Yes, certainly. I've personally worked with different neighborhoods in the past with the neighborhood watch groups, and have gone out to educate them on things they need to do to secure their homes and their property and things of that nature. You know, by all means, if there are neighborhood groups that are interested in doing something locally, we certainly encourage them to contact the police department, and we can guide them, give them some rules and some guidelines to abide by, because we certainly don't want something like that getting out of control. That's always our concern, is sometimes if these groups do get out of control, and none of the ones I've dealt with have, but sometimes they do, and that could end up causing more problems than not. So we're willing to work with the groups and try and make that work out well. But yes, by all means, they can contact us, and we can certainly set something up.
Well, it sounds like you have one group that's working well. They can work with you on that.
Yeah, Madam Chair, and I know Chief Skobasi and her staff have been working. They've been working a long time with us for many years, but I don't think we can stress the importance of really reaching out and having that communication and having some of that you know, understanding what you're looking for and understanding it. Not just, I mean, we're not trying to condition vigilantes either. We're also just trying to we want them to be safe in what
Yes.
they're doing. So her staff, herself and her staff, does such a great job of really sitting down with them and meeting them in the neighborhood itself and at their homes and stuff to do that. So
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chief. Yes.
me hold that for you, Bill.
Madam President, Your Honor, Mayor, City Council. Last night I gave you a copy of, or a summation of what I was going to say tonight, just a brief report. So at this time, I will start my 3 minutes. There. The commission went out and the day before July 4th to put out the flags on the 3 graves that the city owns. And we also picked them up on the Friday. We put out 40 flags. Volunteers we asked for. We found 25 to 35 more veterans' graves that are listed on the cemetery rosters. And not saying that there could be more than that, there probably is, but we couldn't put the flags on them because we didn't have a record of it. Now then, very important. Cemeteries are in bad shape, very, very bad shape. Tall weeds, grass hasn't been cut, headstones are knocked over or broken. Grave markers, you can't even find them because they're overgrown of the grass and the weeds. You just can't find them. We had to use a probe to find them. I'd like to ask for a change in these cemeteries and have something done. Now, I understand that the city clerk's office is in charge of that, but I also found out through the city clerk that there's no money to take care of these cemeteries. Somehow or other, I would like to see it corrected if we can get it back in somehow. I know money is tight, but you don't want to get a bad reputation of not taking care of your own. And that's just not the veterans, that's just the citizens that are buried there also. You know, probably a lot of people don't have family here anymore, so they can't take care of them graves. So it's up to the city. We got the property, we got to take care of them, and somehow we got to find a way of doing it. Next year, I got a feeling we're going to be putting out about 80 flags. I was short this year, like I said. I got 40 more flags that was given to us, to the commission, from the Ladies Auxiliary, the VFW at 4422 down here on Pine Street, and is very gracious about taking them and giving them to us. Also, I asked for people to volunteer at the last meeting, and well, Tuesday there before July, and lo and behold, I can tell you that people showed up. Two people out of 50,000 that gave any crap about what was going on in this city and cemeteries. 2. That's a disgusting thought, boy. When I think about it, they don't care about even their families being buried there, let alone they don't care about the veterans being buried there. I think it's a disgrace. If that's the mentality that we've got in this city, then lo and behold, we're going to be in trouble a long, long time. Because nobody's going to be able to talk to each other, nobody's going to do anything to each other. And you're never going to get anything solved. You got to work together, and that's what we're trying to do. In the meantime, I'm going to ask for volunteers again for November. I'll be back again to talk to you about it, and I hope to heck we have more than 2. And anyway, I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Grant for the 2 showing up. Thank you.
Okay.
3 minutes. How about that?
Madam Chair,
Good job, Mr. Buck.
I had a question to Mr.
Brandiana, one moment. You've got a question.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Okay. So if there were some people that wanted to volunteer to help clean up the graveyards, would they contact you, or maybe we get
To
some
clean
kids?
them up?
Yeah,
Ooh, I got nothing to do with that. That's the city's job.
would it have to be the city, or could the museum commission?
Well,
get
the
some
only thing I
volunteers
asked when I
together?
asked for volunteers was put the flags out and take them down. This time was very rough for us because we had a hard time finding everything. But we found them, but we found 35 more that we didn't know about. So the ones that we had on the list didn't get flags because we were putting them on the ones that we didn't have one. So, you know, somebody got shortchanged, but the thought was there anyway.
Mr. Buck, I'm on the Veterans Museum Commission with you, and I wanted to say, let you know, because we didn't talk about this yet, we were going to make some contacts. We discussed it with some Eagle Scouts possibly that might want to take that on as a project. If, obviously, there's funds, limited funds for maintaining those cemeteries, and or some other groups, like she said, the historical group, or somebody else that might have some interest in
The
helping.
church group.
It needs
Well,
grass
you know,
cutting.
That's great. Anybody that wants to volunteer would have to go through the city
Yeah.
clerk to let her know that the process is being done.
Right.
Man, I would love to see it, and I know that people on the commission would be glad to help them also, but the point is that we can't take something upon ourselves like that and go ahead and do it. I'd rather have it done right through the city the way it should be.
Yeah.
And if the funds ever come available, well, then they go to a private contractor or something, but you only need to cut that grass 3 times a week.
You're
Right.
gonna have to start the clock again.
Yeah, but you don't have to snowplow it in the wintertime because nobody goes there, but you know, just 3 times a year, you know,
Okay.
for the grass and the
Okay.
weeds.
Madam Clerk?
Okay, if I may, I have been in contact with some scout groups to organize some volunteer efforts for the cemeteries. Last year, we had a gentleman or young man obtain his Eagle Scout by cleaning up Oak Grove, but, you know,
Yeah,
volunteer
that's
efforts
great.
once a year
Yeah.
doesn't
If
help.
that can happen, I'm gonna tell
Helps,
you,
but-
just not to stay here too long, because I don't want to hear any more crap baloney about me being too long up here. Down here in the corner, the cemetery and by off of Telegraph in 75, that's an old cemetery. Very old. I mean, if you go in there, you look at some of the graves, and they go back to 1882 and then maybe before that. But that's a swamp area now. Over the years, land is settled and it's washed out. Somebody might even think about moving that one of these days because it's so bad. But, you know, if you haven't been there to see it, and I was there, believe me, it's not a pleasant thing to look at.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I've also contacted Mr. Martin. Years ago, there was a cemetery commission. It was dissolved, I believe, under Petoniak administration. I'd like to see that put back in force because me being one person is, you know, difficult to manage 3 cemeteries and organizing the, you know, volunteer efforts and everything. So it would be nice to have the cemetery commission. I know several people that would be willing to volunteer for it that were upset it was dissolved. So like I said, if anybody wants to volunteer to help clean up the cemeteries, please give me your name and I will be in contact because I am organizing cleanup effort.
Okay,
And
Mayor?
Chair, I just want to add, you know, our parks staff under Mr. Yulin does their very best to get to those as well as everything else. And while many of them are tucked into pretty wooded areas, you know, the grass isn't, you know, as
Difficult?
thick and as it
Yes.
would be in a normal park space. So your takes a lot of, you know, walking in hand work because it's weed whacking more than it is taking a mower into those areas. So, but I know, you know, even discussion with Marianne at one point, there's a lot more to that, as Mr. Buck was kind of alluding to. There are still people that have available plots, that they've been sold plots throughout the years that haven't utilized those at this point in time. And she, you know, she would talk about how she came and every once in a while someone would show up and say, you know, can you show me where this is? And there's the record related to the original plotting of all of those is not really existent on site. So
I've marked a grave since I've been